Hi, I'm Katie Sky, and welcome to my channel, and welcome back to the island of Pinecone. Today we are finishing Pinecone, if you can believe it. The only thing left on this island are a few filler spaces and then the beaches. Everything else is done, so we're just gonna jump right into it. We're going to start on this far back left-hand beach, and we're gonna do a little fall carnival festival situation. So I started off by just placing down the bigger items first with like the Ferris wheel, the teacups, you know, those things, and then I kind of decorated around them. I did have to turn them all off though because the sound was annoying the crap out of me. Like, I think the sound is really cute when you're just like walking through, but when you're building it and you're in that area for so long, like it starts to make my eye twitch a little bit. So I turn them off whenever I'm kind of decorating with them. And now we're gonna work on the rocks a little bit. And by work on the rocks, I mean I put one thing down and then I got distracted. And I am, of course, adding in as many festival balloons that I possibly can, because at this point I think I'm a little bit addicted to putting them everywhere on this island. I also tried to use as many of the plaza items as I could because I don't normally use them, so I was like, might as well use as many as we can. And these plaza clocks were not easy to figure out what to do with them. And now we are, of course, going back to the rocks that I was originally going to start, and then I got distracted. And we're just making a little eating hangout area. Just like maybe you got some funnel cake and that's where you want to go eat it. That kind of thing. I will tell you, I loved this island. However, I'm very happy that it's over. I'm happy that, you know, it's done. And we can move on to a summer island now. Don't get me wrong, I love my fall islands, but I am ready for something a little bit different. And the next theme I'm doing is one that I've wanted to do for literal years. I could just never figure out the right way to make it into a theme because I do feel like it's going to be kind of difficult. It's going to be more difficult to stretch it into an entire island, but I do have a plan. I've actually planned a lot of this island out already, so hopefully we don't get any big surprises. And I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Even though you have no idea what theme I'm talking about, but you'll find out very soon, very soon. And I will give you a little tiny hint. It is going to be tropical. It's not the tropical resort challenge though. I know a lot of people are doing that one. I will not be partaking in that because I was already working on this island before I saw everybody had started doing this challenge, which does look like a lot of fun, but mine is not going to look like that. It's going to be very different. Another fun little fact about this beach build is that this one section of beach took me probably longer than the rest of all of the beaches combined. I just could not get my brain to wrap itself around this build for whatever reason. It did not want to do a festival, I guess, but you know, we got there in the end. I feel like that's been kind of the theme of this island, but it is over, so you know, there is that. And this, of course, will not be the last time I do a fall-themed island. I'm not overdoing fall things. I don't know. This one just didn't hit like it normally does for me. But I do have ideas for my spooky island for October, though, so stay tuned for that as well. And I'm just going to pop in a cutie little fall festival train ride, I guess. That's what we're going with. And now we're going to start on my favorite part, the pathing. Pathing beaches can be such a pain, especially because I never know, like, Should I do like a lot of pathing? Should I just do a few little paths here and there? I never know how I should do the pathing, or how I end up doing it. But for this section, I did like full on dirt pathing just because I think it makes the most sense, because it's a carnival, so there would be a lot of foot traffic, so that would create paths. That's my logic. I don't know if it's actually logicking, but that was my thought process. And I, of course, am not going to make you sit through me struggling through all of that, but you've been watching me do pathing for weeks and weeks. You know what it's gonna do. You know what it looks like. And now we're just gonna add in some flowers into this area. I then immediately decided I wanted to move the flowers around, because of course I did. Let me know what island you're working on. Like, what's your theme? What are you doing? Are you doing the challenge for the, what is it, the tropical resort? I think that's the challenge that's going on right now. Are you doing that one? Are you doing just a regular summer island? Are you doing a fall island? Tell me what you're doing. While we're at it, why don't you also tell me what book you're reading, or what show are you watching? What YouTuber are you really enjoying right now? What is your entertainment looking like? I, for once, am actually not reading a book right now. I'm right in the middle, or rather, I'm between reads right now. As many of you may know, because I talk about it all the time, I'm also an author, and I got to go to a signing as a signing author this past weekend in Burbank, California. It was a lot of fun. It was the biggest one I've done to date. I do have a bigger one scheduled later this year, but it was a lot of fun. And I did, in fact, buy books that I really didn't need, but they were very pretty, so I will be reading those books next, that is for sure. I definitely recommend that if you are like a big reader and you've always wanted to go to one of these events, you should definitely do it. I've gone to them as a reader like several times. It's a lot of fun, even if you go on your own. I've gone to them by myself before, and because you meet so many amazing people there, and I highly recommend that if you've always wanted to go, you should definitely go. And there are so many more popping up every single year, so there's probably one at least kind of near you, at least in the same region of the country as you. I mean, don't get me wrong, travel is definitely involved. I did have to travel a fair distance to get to this one, because I don't live in Burbank, California. It's about 2 hours, give or take, with LA traffic, from where I live. So, you know, I did have a little mini vacation down there. I went to IKEA because they have an IKEA. That's the closest IKEA to us, actually, is that one that is 2 hours away. And so I got to go there because I love IKEA. And when I tell you that I love IKEA, I love IKEA. I was in that store for 3 hours. Okay, not quite 3 hours, but almost 3 hours. It was kind of ridiculous, even for me, but I am kind of like redecorating my room right now, so I was like really looking at things to try and get to finish decorating in here. My room is so far from being where I want it to be, though. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, if you want to go to a reader event, a signing, a book signing, whatever it may be, you should do that. And that applies to, you know, things outside of the reader space. If there's something you've always wanted to do, you should definitely go do that. And if you can hear the gentle sway of my fan in the background, I want to apologize, but it's just too hot not to have my fan on. I tried it, but I did not last very long without it. It's just too hot here. And so, sorry. And right now, I'm just kind of finishing off this little area before I move on to the next one. Lots of codes, flowers, you know the deal. And then I'm gonna do, as you can tell, I'm gonna do some planks on the beaches instead of the main dirt pathing, mostly because I want to, and you can't stop me. It is wild to me that this island is already done. It feels like I just started this island and started posting on YouTube again. Because, you know, I started doing videos back last year? Like 2024. And I think I did 4 videos and then I immediately stopped. I don't know why. I think I was doing a lot of heavy writing at the time and I just burned out of everything. And so it just kind of, my channel just kind of sat dormant, and then I decided, you know what? Let's get her back up. Let's get her going. Let's do Pinecone because I had wanted to redo this island for a while anyways. And I've been having such a fun time. All of that to say that it's crazy that I have almost a fully completed series on YouTube for this island. I obviously still need to do the official tour of Pinecone, but like the building itself is done. At this point in time, IRL, I have in fact already done the DA. I actually did the DA a couple weeks ago. I've been so busy with prepping for this book event that I haven't had time to do any really like YouTube type stuff. In fact, I'm recording this voiceover the day before this video is due to go live, which I normally have my videos done a little bit further in advance than that. So I'm only slightly very stressed out about it. It'll all work out how it's supposed to in the end, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and there's probably a mistake somewhere in this video, in my editing, definitely in my speaking, but that's every video because I just can't talk normally most of the time. I stumble over my words a lot, and that's not just a YouTube thing, that's just my life thing. Although that I'm pretty sure is an ADHD thing because I think my brain sometimes just works too fast for my mouth to keep up. So, ooh, a shooting star! I didn't know that I recorded this when I had shooting stars. Sorry, I got distracted. What was I saying? Right. My brain works too fast sometimes for my mouth to keep up, so I stumble over my words. That's the story. Not very interesting, it's just kind of how I am. But now we're working on this little recreation area, which, if you remember, this is to the left of the campground. So I'm kind of making it the part of the campground that would be like all of like the activities, like, you know, volleyball, like all the sporty things. So that's what this area is. It's not technically a part of the campground, but also yes it is, if that makes sense. It does in my head. This is also about where I started really contemplating why I do my beaches, because I know some people just like block off their beaches so that they don't have to decorate them, and I've never done that on an island before. I mean, I've left my beaches empty before, but I never like blocked them off. I guess I could have left them empty. I probably should have done that. I was so tired by the end of this island, but you know, they're done now. And they're cute-ish. I do think that I might take a break from doing interiors and beaches for a while, because this island really put me through it. I am tired and I don't want to do them anymore. I know, I'm whining. I'll end up doing the beaches on the next island and probably the one after that. I do think that I might not do the interiors on the next island though. We are already, almost 15 minutes into this video and I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. Oh gosh, it took so long to do these beaches. I forgot about that. Now we're just putting in the little soccer field. I almost forgot the word field for a second there. Another fun fact about me, when I was younger, much younger than I am now, I played soccer for 8 years? Something like that. A ridiculous number for, being as young as I was. I started when I was 5 or 6, I think. And I don't think I stopped until I was 13, somewhere around there. And the only reason I did is because I started having really bad knee pain. And so it wasn't fun for me anymore. But yeah, I loved soccer for so long. And for those of you that don't live in America, that's football for you. Yeah, I was a very active child. I loved playing sports and being active and being outside. I was also in the Girl Scouts. I did a lot of stuff. Honestly, just thinking about all the activities I did when I was younger, I am exhausted just thinking about it. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how my mom kept up with all of that and got me to all of the things, because like she did like the coaching, she was my Girl Scout leader, like she was really involved, and I'm like, how did you have the energy for that? Because I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, that's exhausting. I'm gonna be so honest right now, I don't know how I got onto that topic. Anyway, so we're just gonna put some more planks down. We're gonna do this cutie little jungle gym area. Even though I do already have a jungle gym in the campground, but we obviously need one down here as well. I have absolutely no idea if any of this is interesting, but you guys will for sure let me know, of course. Ooh, something else I'm kind of curious about is, did you get the Switch too? I did not, and I don't know if I'm going to be completely honest. I know, like, I'm technically a content creator now, and a lot of other content creators have been going and getting the Switch 2 because it's new. I don't actually know why. I have to say, I am not impressed with what I've seen thus far. Like, that system is so expensive, like almost $500, and it doesn't seem like it was updated enough from the first one to charge that kind of money, in my opinion. And I also think that they're too concerned about modding. Like, listen, trust me, I understand piracy. Like, I'm in the book world. My book has been pirated. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be worried about it. I think that the extremes that they might have gone to might have been a little bit too far. Because I was seeing people that they were literally opening it and their system was already bricked, or they literally just turned it on and it was bricked, and they didn't try to mod anything, they didn't change anything. It's just so sensitive that it's bricking itself. And I'm like, in my opinion, like, you pay almost $500 for that, right? They should not be bricking things left, right, and center. And I get them not wanting their games to be pirated. I understand that. But a lot of the mods aren't pirating. Like, I have a spicy Switch. It's a very recent spicy Switch, but it's a spicy Switch, but I pay for all of my games. I pay for all of that. The only reason I have a modded Switch is so that I can have multiple islands on Animal Crossing and can control my pockets, right? And I see nothing wrong with that because you're not stealing anything, right? But they're so afraid of it. And I get it, like, piracy is bad, but you're punishing people that are paying lots of money for your product. And in my opinion, it's a little bit inferior at this point based on what I've seen from other people. Because like I said, I don't have it. I'm probably not going to, simply because it is so expensive and I honestly cannot afford that. And honestly, if I were to have just like $500 kicking around, I wouldn't spend it on another system when my regular Switch 1 works perfectly fine. Like, it doesn't load as fast, you know, the screen isn't as big, but honestly, that doesn't really affect my gameplay that much to the point that I would want to spend $500 when I could spend it on something else, like go on a vacation, you know, visit family, or, you know, put it into getting different games, or even putting it into like my author business. Like, it's too expensive for me to ever be able to really justify that. But I know a lot of people were really excited, and I hope that it was as amazing as you wanted it to if you were one of those. And I'm just curious of who has gotten the Switch 2 and who's like really liking it. Because I know I saw JoJo Crosses, I think. She did a whole unboxing, or did she do the comparison? I don't know, but she seems to be really liking the Switch 2. I can't justify it, to be completely honest. Maybe down the line, if the next Animal Crossing game is like spectacular and can only be played on the Switch 2, which is the most likely, that's definitely how it is. Maybe then I would get like a used one. But honestly, New Horizons is like gold tier for me. Like, it's my favorite game that I've ever played. So I don't know that they could make a better one for me, for me to want to like figure out how to get $500 for that. Does that make sense to you guys? Anyway, these are just my ramblings on the whole situation, and I think I saw somewhere that there's supposed to be another Nintendo Direct about Animal Crossing. So we'll see if that happens, and if that's true, like what they say. I think at most we'll be getting an announcement. I don't think that we'll see a game before the year 2026. That's my personal opinion. That's also been my opinion for the last year, as everyone's been talking about this more and more. But I'm quite content, to be completely real, with just playing Animal Crossing. And I did hit that ball and bounce that ball specifically for my mother. My mom loves bouncing the ball in this game, and she's like, her opinion is you cannot walk by a ball and not bounce it. So I bounce the ball for her every time I walk by one as well. Anyway, let's move on from talking about the Switch 2, and we're gonna do this little, fix this little filler area so that you can get from Hazel's little spot to the beaches. I do end up changing this because you can't put a little ladder right there because it's right on the beach, and I was not smart enough to think that all the way through. But this was one of the little filler areas I needed to fix, so that's what we're doing. And this was also right in the middle of me moving all of my flowers around and kind of working on filler areas, which I was doing in between beaches because I was getting kind of bored. Plus I had to move a bunch of flowers, so I decided to do the filler areas. Anyways, I'm not going to make you watch a lot of the filler areas because it's mostly just placing flowers, as you can see. But just know, I did the filler areas. I did also completely miss this little area, kind of to the right of the entrance and below like the koi pond. I somehow just did not put a path there. Don't know how that happened, but we're gonna fix that real quick. Again, nothing crazy. I'm just putting in a path that leads to the stairs and then a little path planks that are going to lead to the beach, and then doing like little flowers, and that's it. It always gets really tricky at the end of an island when you're done with all of the like land building, you just have the beaches left, because most of us, I think, put our flowers on our beaches at some point. And so by the end, it's very difficult to get to the beaches because you have to then clear out any of the flowers you have left, and I always seem to have so many flowers. And now we're just moving on to the right side of the beaches finally, and we're gonna do a little cemetery because of course we are. There is not a single island I think I've done that doesn't have some sort of spooky element to it. I don't know why I'm like this, I just am. Now, the only really solid idea I had for any of my beaches was regarding my peninsula, which is on this side. It's a rather large one. It's not the largest, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure I've had larger ones, but I wanted to do something kind of different, something I've never done with one of the peninsulas before, and then it kind of bleeds out onto the beach a little bit, kind of, and that's right below the cemetery. Is it weird that I put a cemetery right next to it? Yeah, probably, but I did it, so you know, it's fine. What's a little, you know, decomposition with... Also, this little beach right here is so small. I could not figure out what was even possible on that. So here's the peninsula I was telling you about. See, it's really flat at the back, and I think that the other one I've done is a lot bigger in the back. Anyways, that doesn't matter. So I wanted to do a little area for... Oh, this is when I realized that I can't put not a bridge kit, a ladder kit right there. So I have to change this and make it go straight, which means I had to move some stuff from the original design, but it's fine. It all works out in the end. So here I'm just putting down the little, I think it's the vine ladder kit, my favorite one, and then just putting everything else back on the other side of... Anyway, back to what we were talking about. We're doing a little diving area. Launch pad. So I'm building this up, and then I'm gonna do a little staircase up to it, and then you can literally just jump off of it into the water. I think that's so much fun, and I've never done one on my islands before, so that's what we're doing. And for the top of the diving pad, we're gonna put a little gazebo. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. And then I did quickly whip up this little sign so that you know that you can go diving. And then I'm not doing anything too crazy up here. I'm just gonna do a little bit of planks for the pathing, and then flowers. And on the other side of the gazebo, I I always say we, you understand. I'm gonna put a little seating area so that you can sit before you jump. I don't know, maybe after you jump you're tired and you want to sit up there and watch the view. Whatever you want to do. I've seen so many people do some sort of diving platform like this before, and I've always wanted to do one myself, but I've never had enough space or remembered in time to do it, and I thought that it was such a perfect way to use this peninsula. So I was like, it's perfect, I can finally do that. And we're just finishing off this top area with the planks to show where you can jump off, and then a little stool to hold the diving suit, which of course at this point I did not have, so I do eventually put it there. Just know that it's there. And now we're just gonna move on to the lower beach and make sure that you know that you can go up to Hazel's house this way, because you can't access this beach any other way. You can only get it from Hazel's house. and then we're just gonna make a little fishing beach. Okay, well, I suppose every beach is technically a fishing beach. I suppose it's a fishing beach if you fish on it, period. But it's gonna have, like, this is where you rent your stuff for fishing. Do you rent fishing stuff? Supplies? Like, can you rent a fishing rod when you go, like, camping? Huh, I don't know. I've been fishing exactly once in my life. I was 3. 4? I was very young. I don't remember anything about it. I don't know a thing about fishing except that you need fishing rods and that, like, my mom and my brother like it. Not for me. No, thank you. I don't even like eating fish, let alone catching them. Like, no, I'm good. Anyway, so this is just my interpretation of what you would see, I suppose, at a fishing rental place. Another thing that starts to get hard at the end of an island for me is I start running out of things. So, like, I don't really have many items left that I can even use on beaches. Also, like, I didn't go to any treasure islands before I did the beaches. I just kind of am using what I have left, which is not a lot at this point. I mean, this island is chock full of stuff. But I was also doing the beaches when a lot of the Switch updates were happening, so there were a lot of treasure islands, or most of them, that couldn't be online, and so they were down. So I just kind of had to make do. Also, by the time I get to the beaches, I'm pretty tired. Also, I was doing this really late at night, so I just wanted to get it over with. And there, see, I put the little thing back, or I put the little diving suit up there. There's proof. You can go diving on this island. If you do visit this island and go diving, you need to send me, like, a picture or, like, a video or something to show me that you did. I don't know why, that is just so cute to me. And now we're moving on to the last beach, which is also the largest beach. No, I lied. There's one other beach that I almost forgot to do at the very front of the island. The second to last beach, but the biggest beach is what we're doing now. And we're starting with a picnic. I mean, is it even an Animal Crossing island if there's not a picnic somewhere on the island? So I'm just doing a 2-blanket picnic area, and it's like gonna be like the stargazing area, or it's gonna be kind of attached to the stargazing area is what I should say. You know, putting trees, flowers. I feel like I have been all over the place during this voiceover, during this video in general, more so than I normally am. So if you've stuck it out this long, I appreciate you so much. I don't know what it says about you that you've listened to me ramble for over 30 minutes, but I appreciate you. Because I'm honestly kind of sick of hearing myself talk, so I can't imagine how anyone else feels. And speaking of appreciating how amazing you all are, I have to say thank you so much for 50 subscribers. That is bananas to me. I can't believe we already hit 50. I think we're actually at 55 right now, which is pretty cool, seeing as this is just the first island I've completed. And I'm not great at social media, to be completely honest. Which is not a good thing, seeing as that's how I market my books, which I have not been doing lately. I've been real bad with that. Anyway, we're not talking about that. I just want to say thank you. I am so appreciative, and I can't wait until we continue our journey together. You can see, we can build our next island together. I'm eventually maybe gonna try out streaming. Not for a while though. I really don't think that my current laptop can handle streaming. Like, she can barely handle editing the videos. So we're eventually gonna get there, just not yet. But once I get like a desktop and I can stream without it breaking my computer with how much, you know, you have to do with it, like all of the different screens, then we'll definitely do some streaming. We'll see if I like it. And, you know, I think that it'll be a fun time. But honestly, at the earliest, it would be like the end of this year, because I'm gonna be out of town for quite a bit. Not quite a bit. I have a few book conventions I'm going to in the fall, so it doesn't seem like a good idea to start streaming just to disappear for a week or two. So if I do start streaming soon, it will be probably at the beginning of next year, like maybe in time for my birthday in January. I don't know, but it also, I have to get a different computer because this girl is struggling. But I also don't want to burn myself out of Animal Crossing, which I can do, I tend to do a lot. If I'm gonna be like streaming, like that wouldn't be fun for you guys if I just disappeared because, oh, I don't want to play Animal Crossing for 3 months. So I'm trying to take things very slowly so that I don't burn out, especially because like I'm just now getting over burnout of writing and all of my like author stuff, which it's not good to have burnout when you are trying to make, you know, like a business successful, or, you know, have any sort of success when it's such a big industry like the publishing industry. We're not going to get into that. I can go off on a whole tangent on that. My point is I don't want to get burned out on something else again because it. So let me know. Are you interested in me potentially streaming? I honestly don't know if I could be interesting enough for streaming. So we'll see. Another thing I'd love your guys' input on is, would you like to see me do any other games? Like realistically, the only other game I own and like really enjoy playing at this point is Dreamlight Valley. I don't know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. I am still pretty early on in it because I didn't start playing it until not too long ago, and then I immediately took a break after the hyper focus kind of disappeared from it. But we can dive back into that if you guys would be interested in that. There's also a game that I've kind of had my eye on that is supposed to come out in 2026. It was also supposed to come out in 2024 and 2025. So we'll see if it comes out in 26. If it does, I'll definitely be playing that on this channel because it looks like a lot of fun. What other games would you be interested in, or what other games are you playing right now? I don't know. Let's see. We are working on the little stargazing rock now, which is essentially just going to consist of the little telescopes, a little seating area, and a wheat field. It's pretty simple. I don't even know why I decided to do the rocks on this island. I don't normally do too many of the rocks. I don't know. Some of the choices I made on this island were very interesting. And we of course need our bat friends. Also, let me know if you like seeing the beaches decorated like this, or that's something you just kind of want to find as a nice little surprise on a DA that you visit. Because I completely understand that sometimes these videos are too long and they have to be long to fit everything in, but you know, sometimes you just want a quick little video. And then of course Dora sat in front of the chair. Why do they always sit in front of the chairs? And she's also in the way. This mouse in the entrance, in the last build. She just wants to be in the way. Anyway, I've been saying that a lot today too. It wasn't cute today, it was anyway. As I was saying, I'm sorry that this video is so long. I think it's like 50 minutes long. If you're watching this all the way through, you're amazing. Because I don't know that I'm gonna make it through this video. I've at this point run out of things to talk about. I don't know, like that's a lot of space to fill for me. I'm not a big talker, and that's a lot of talking that I'm doing. I know it doesn't seem like that for a lot of people, but for me, in my personal life, that's just it. It's a lot for me to just talk for 50 minutes straight. Although I will say that I did pause the recording of this in the middle to have dinner. No, I didn't have dinner. I fed my dog dinner. She was being quite insistent that it was dinner time and making a nuisance of herself and being very loud with my microphone, like right next to the microphone. So I was like, okay, I guess we're taking a break so that she'll chill a little bit. And now she's just walked out of the room so that I can finish this. I mean, she's not alone, but she's just not in the room with me because she was sitting right next to my microphone and just like licking all of her paws. And it was so loud, and if you heard any of that and I didn't catch it in time, I do apologize. Anyway, we're now moving down to the lower portion of this beach, which is just a lot of filler, to be honest. It's like some of the little chairs, the beach chairs, trees, flowers, you know, the whole. I feel like all I've done in this video is complain. I'm sorry about that. If that is how that came across, I'm sorry. But I've also just been talking about how tired I am, but that's because I'm legitimately so exhausted. But again, you don't really need to know that I'm perpetually exhausted because I have the worst insomnia. But let's just keep moving down this beach, slowly chipping away. Almost to the end, only a couple more little areas. And obviously this is the last like building video of this island, but we do still have the island tour, which you will be seeing next week. Yeah, next week I'm working on the custom flag. No, not the flag. I already have a flag for this island. The custom map. I'm working on that right now, and you will definitely be seeing that in the tours, so keep an eye out for that. And then we're starting our new island. Back to what we're doing. I am doing a little bonfire area, you know, somewhere where you're just gonna roast some marshmallows on the beach, you know, hang out with friends, that kind of thing. And be sure to keep an eye out for a bonus video or two that might be coming your way very soon. And I would also love if my dog would stop eating whatever that is. She keeps eating stuff off of the floor and it's not good. And yep, I'm pretty sure she just ate a dust bunny off of the floor. I don't even know where she found one because I just swept and dusted in here. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. I don't remember what we were talking about, but right now I'm putting in some trees and some little wheat field that of course won't go where I want it to. We're gonna do some weeds and some more weeds, and then we're gonna get back to the pathing. And when I was building this, when I got to this point, I'm like, I'm so close. I gotta keep going. But I was very tired. It was like 11 o'clock, midnight, after I'd been up since like 6 a.m. And I just was like, I want to get it done. But I was tired. But it was like just the very last bit of beach that we have to do. But it's always the last little bit that to me is the hardest, because my brain has just completely shut down by that point. We don't really need to discuss what's wrong with my brain though. So the last bit of this beach I kept pretty simple because, like I said, I was tired. So we just did some plank pathing from one side to the other basically. I don't normally like to have my pathing in straight lines like this, but when you're doing planks it kind of ends up being that way. So we'll just pretend like that's not in a straight line. And then we of course need a little bench, which of course I then immediately sat on, but it's fine. And I did the little pumpkin treat bag, but I did it backwards so that you couldn't see the face. And then I put a flower down here, and then I realized that the same flower was on that cliff. So I had to change that, of course. And now we're just adding in a little stall. Not a stall. The fortune cookie thing. So it's like a little, maybe you can get a hot dog there. I don't know. Some sort of eatery on the beach. And then just a little, I think it's the bamboo lunch or something. So that maybe that's something that they sell. And then we're going to put in some more trees. Because it is a beach, you need some palm trees or some coconut trees. And now we're gonna put the stall in where you would rent stuff with the little gyroid that's gonna check you out, like rent it out to you. I don't use the gyroids near enough as I should. They're so cute. And then we're just adding, honestly, some random stuff that I had left in my storage. And then finishing off this path. Like I was saying earlier, I think you guys have watched me path so much in this island. I don't feel like I normally have this much pathing, but it just couldn't be avoided for this island. Or maybe I just didn't like the path. I don't know. The pathing was hard for me on this island, which it's not normally this hard, but I feel like you've watched at least a few hours of me just putting path down, which is not very entertaining. Not at all. And now we can start adding in the last few decorations, which is mostly just going to be like flowers, I think. Be sure to let me know what your favorite beach was. And if you've made it this far in the video, I must commend you for putting up with my random ramblings for so long. And you can probably hear my dog's little tippy taps as she comes into the room. She also is appreciative of it because she's like, I have to listen to it all of the time, so somebody else should have to suffer sometimes as well. But thank you, I appreciate that. And we're just gonna put the last little festival balloons to finish out this beach before we move on to this last little tiny beach next to the entrance, where we're just gonna put some trees, some flowers, and the I can't remember what that is, the gazebo. I also don't think I can say that one properly. And we're gonna throw down a beach chair, do some more flowers, maybe a pumpkin, because that's something that you put on a beach. Okay, maybe that was on a different beach that I put the pumpkins. We are just wrapping up this last little bit, and then we're gonna be done. Oh, but first we need to put our festival balloons out. Cannot forget those. No beach is complete without them. Like seriously, I don't think I did a single build without this item on this island. And if you want to see how the beaches came out, you'll have to come back and see it in the island tour next week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!